and welcome. It's me, Mars44, and I'm back with another Cardfight Vanguard Crayon Line deck profile. Today's deck profile, we have the one and only King of Knights Alfred. 12 crit. So, yeah, this is the 12 critical King of Knights Alfred deck. Actually, I tried it out, and my gosh, I never understood how to use it until I actually used it. But man, is it a good deck. I really like this deck. Yeah, so I will also say I apologize that the earlier deck profiles were always like 20 minutes or 18 minutes or 16 minutes or something. I never actually wrote anything down before I went into the video, so I knew what I was talking about, but I'd forget stuff and I'd blab on about stuff. So this time I wrote it down, and hopefully it's gonna go better. So, yeah, let's begin. First off, we got Wingal Brave, our starter. So, there's not much to say about him. He's the best starter of the Royal Paladins. Unless you're using Jewel Knights, obviously. That's pretty obvious, obviously. But yeah, he's the best starter of the Royal Paladins, and on top of it, he helps you get that added card to the hand if you boost with Blaster Unit. And there's really no grade 3 searcher. I would use that to try and, get Alfred as the Vanguard more. But there is no grade 3 searcher. It'd probably be more effective in the deck too. But yeah, there's no grade 3 searcher for Royal Paladin, so that sucks. Oh well. What are you going to do? Alright, so next up, we got the man of the deck, the king of the deck, the leader of all that is Royal Paladin, King of Knights Alfred. I don't know where I was going with that, but King of Knights Alfred, pretty self-explanatory. Plus 2,000 for each Royal Paladin rearguard, and he can't be boosted, and you have a counterblast, and he has a counterblast 3 on Vanguard or rearguard circle. That you can search your deck for one grade 2 or less Royal Paladin and call it to rear. So, he doesn't need a boost, obviously, so that's why this deck kind of works as well, because you don't have to throw a unit behind him. There's also, you use him to superior call Akane, High Dog Raider Akane, to get another superior call, or Blaster Blade Spirit to knock out a unit in their front row. And yeah, it's handy with Wingal Brave, I guess, because Wingal Brave gives you that +1 to your hand, and there's nothing behind the Vanguard. There's a card that can go behind Alfred if your opponent's using a 10k, but we'll get to that later when we get to that card. Yeah, so that's really it. This card pretty much makes the deck, most of the part. And then we got 4 Swordsmen of the Explosive Flames, Palamedes. So with Palamedes, if you get him as a ride, there's more pressure and less hand, so you just have to be more pressuring with the Marins and Toypugals behind it, because you want a whole front row of Palamedes, or at least 2. And he hits with Toypugal or Marin. With Marin behind it, he hits for 21, and with Toypugal, he hits 22. So if they have an MLB, you want to try for Toypugal. But if they don't have an 11k Vanguard, doesn't matter either or. Against cross rides, the deck's still good, of course. He can't hit the 23 mark, but he does swing in as a 13k beater if you don't really have anything to throw behind it. So he's nice for the 13k beat stick against 8ks, or even against the Vanguard. That is a cross ride, but against the Vanguard overall. Yeah, that's really about it for him. And then we have 2 Blaster Blade. Now, I only run 2. He's needed, but you don't need too many, because you don't use his counterblast too much, because you want to save the counterblast for superior calling, so you can pull the crits in the deck and just pressure and pressure and pressure. So you don't need him too much, but if you really do need him at times, you can use him. Like if there's something that's really, really threatening you, like maybe Red River and Dusty Plasma column. for Narukami. You might want to use him to get rid of that because that might be too threatening for your deck, and you might just completely lose because the Blood's a pain. Might be a pain for this deck. Killing the front row and everything, and you can't put up with the Red River Dusty column as well. So you could use it to kill Dusty or Red River, and yeah, but he's not the preferred ride because he just doesn't completely guarantee the Wingal Brave skill going off, and you want to try your best to do it. Yeah. So we also have 3 Blaster Blade Spirits. He's the one you want to try and ride for the 15k attack to try your best to guarantee the Wingo Brave moving into the soul. Most people will guard it. I'm not sure if they'll guard the Blaster Blade Spirit attack because that's pretty high. At times I kind of debate on moving Wingo Brave to the rear guard back row because I don't want to have it sitting behind the Vanguard unless you know your Vanguard's your opponent's Vanguard is 10k already because you already fought them. Then it's fine leaving it behind the Vanguard and boosting with it to try to get a blaster unit. If not, that's fine. They're 10k Vanguard. It's okay. But other than that, you want to try to ride Blaster Blade Spirit. He's a good card also to he's just good for ensuring Wingo's skill, and he's also good with Alfred's skill, as I said, to kill a front row unit. And he's also good for columns, because like this deck makes really good columns with the all the 10Ks and the Toypugals and the Marins and the Palamedes and the Alfreds and the Gallatins, and just it makes really good columns. And it's just the 10k vanilla as well, in a way. It does get, I've been thinking of playing 4 and 3 Gallatin, but the one problem with him, with Blaster Blade Spirit, that I find is if he's attacked, he's retired at the end, even if you guard it. So, that's my one problem with him, and that's why I only play 3, and I play 2 Blaster Blades. So it ensures that Blaster ride, it helps ensure it. And then we have 2 High Dog Breeder Akane. Of course, if you don't get the Blaster ride, actually, you want to move Wingo to the rear guard circle, but yeah. So she's really good for searching out Toypugal to guarantee you get one. Most of the time, you probably have one in hand, and you can just use her to get the second one and have the 2 Toypugals on both sides behind the both Palamedes, and then have your Alfred Vanguard, or even one of them doesn't have to be Palamedes. It could be Gallatin, or Blaster Blade Spirit. And she's just really good to combo with Alfred's skill too, if you didn't get her early on. And yeah, if you didn't get her early on and maybe you don't have a back row and you're using Palamedes as a 13k beater, or you have Palamedes and Marin, and you're using Gallatin, let's say, just to hit the rear guards or even the Vanguard, and then you have your Alfred Vanguard at like 16, and then you have a Toypugal Palamedes column, so you just intercept with Gallatin next turn, call Superior Call Akane with Alfred's Counterblast, and then use her to get Toypugal behind her, and she makes a nice column with a Toypugal as well, hitting that 16k mark that you need. So she's just amazing for this deck. You only want to play 2 though, because you don't want too many. The 10Ks are really important in this deck, so that's why. But yeah, she pretty much ensures a Toypugal. And then you have 4 Knight of Silence, Gallatin. So he's a 10k vanilla. They're really important in this deck because this deck can make really good columns. As I said, you have like you can make 18, 19k columns most of the time with the Toypugal and Marin, and with that, even the Toypugal or even the Marin, with the Marin you can threaten out 8ks like other Akanes or Silent Toms or I'm not sure what else, but with Toypugal behind him, You can threaten out like Tartus, Blaster Darks, Blaster Blades, a lot of things, a lot of the 9K rear guards, and your opponent won't want to guard them. So he's really important. The 10Ks are really important because this deck is about the added on pressure and the great columns that they make, and that's just what you need to utilize, and that's why the 10Ks are so important in this deck, because they make the great columns. Another reason why I only play 2 Blaster Blades, because of that fact that you need those great columns with the 10Ks and everything, and that's why I have like I have 7 10Ks in this, and then 2 8Ks and 2 9Ks for grade 2s. It's really important, the 10Ks. That's just that. Alright, so let's move on to grade 1. So for Flash Shield, Iseult. Oh, that's kinda, no. Your 4 perfect guards, you need them. End of story. Perfect guards. That's it. 4 of them. And then we have 3 Lake Maiden Lien. Now Lien was the one I was talking about that you could throw behind Alfred if they have a 10K Vanguard. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I did. It's good for also fixing your hand early on if you ride it, and cycling and getting rid of extra Alfreds if you don't need them, because you have a lot of 10K beaters, and if you have already used Alfred Counterblast and you have Alfred on the Vanguard, you don't really need the rest, and you can just cycle through your deck, get rid of the Alfreds, and just, you know, get more shield, get other cards that you might need, fix your bad hand. He's good behind Alfreds against 10Ks against 10K Vanguards, of course, because you can just rest Lien, drop and draw, and then Alfred can attack for 20. And just yeah, that's really it. He's a really good card in this deck. I only suggest playing 3 because that's just how the deck is. Yeah, that's basically it. And then we have 4 Little Sage Marin. Very important card. 8K vanillas. Very important for Palamedes and making great columns, of course, as I said, with the 10K beaters and the Palamedes. So that's really it. And then we have 3 Toypugals. Also important as well. Same thing as Palamedes. I don't think I read Palamedes' skill actually. So if you have if you have 2 or more grade 3s on your Vanguard and Rearguard circles, then he gains plus 3,000 when he boosts. Same thing with Palamedes, except Palamedes when he attacks. I did forget to mention some of their skills, but I'm sure you know some of them. Akane is the Counterblast 2, you search for a high beast, Superior Call to rear. Blaster Blade Spirit, Counterblast 1, and when it's Superior Call from deck, retire a front row. And then Blaster Blade, I'm sure everyone knows Blaster Blade. I don't need to explain him. But, yeah, I just thought I'd explain that real quick. I forgot I didn't. He's just amazing for making powerful columns with that 9K. He can make powerful column with any of your grade 2s, and even with a Marin, I think 9 plus 8 is the thing, 17. Yeah, he can make a great column with Lien if you want to push for game too. With 16, like Toypugal is just amazing. And yeah, he's 9K booster. That's just that. And that's why he's so amazing. So yeah. On to triggers, so 4 Alabaster Owl, 4 Bringer of Good Luck, Epona, 4 and 4 Blazing Jewel Knight, Rachelle. I could play Lou, but Rachel's better because of the 5K instead of the 4K, and yeah, Lou doesn't really work in the deck. You can't really use his skill, so you don't need to play him. And 4 Yggdrasil and Maiden, Elaine. I don't know how to say that. Yeah, 12 crit, 4 heal. That's how the deck plays, and yeah, that's how it is. So 12 crit Alfred, very good deck. If you want to try it out, go ahead. Of course. And it's an amazing deck. I started using it, and now I think it just wrecks on lots of decks. It poops on them. It just poops on them. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me in this part. I hope you guys enjoyed. For once, we didn't go too far in. Didn't take too long. So remember to like and comment. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And also the link to my Twitter, Skype, and Facebook will be in the description below. So will the deck list of this deck profile if you want to make the deck and try it out. Make it on Query Online as well. Give it a shot. And yeah, that's about it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.